It has never been more clear as the Avalanche have big moves on the horizon to trade for a third line center based off of the comments of their very own Jared Bednar, the head coach of the team, as well as a guy that you might have just seen in the intro video that has also asked for a trade out of his current team and would be a great fit on the Colorado Avalanche. We're going to be diving into that potential third line center trade target and some other third line centers that I asked you guys about earlier and I want to touch on. So we're going to be getting into all of that right here on this episode of Avs Digest. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. And before we just get started, I want to mention to you guys, demolish the subscribe button. If you're cool, you'll do it. That's just the end of the deal. But I've showed this tweet to you guys several times. It is the tweet that says that, yes, Jared Bednar has 3C as a potential wish list spot for this team. And right now, there's also something significant in here. They're also trying Colton at center. And it's something that we've seen over and over again if you look at any of the last few lineups for the past few days. So I believe the Nashville Predators game is when this first started. And then you can actually see it on the Seattle Kraken game as well. So the lineup has looked like this for a couple games now. And Jack Drury is back on the fourth line. So it does seem to indicate that the head coach wants a change at center, and with the third line not being so good and just kind of being a little stagnant and inconsistent over the last month or so, you could definitely see the 3C coming in, and I don't think Ross Colton is the answer at 3C, even though he's been fine at it. But where this all started was that Phillip Danault has asked for a trade out of LA. This was rumored by Marco D'Amico, and his camp hopes to get a deal done sooner than later prior to the trade freeze, is what he reports. Kings are willing to wait it out, looking for a player-for-player trade, and he does mention some teams that are looking interested at kicking the tires. And he does go on to mention that, in case you don't know, the roster freeze does actually begin at the, December 20th. So Phillip Danault could be an interesting option for the Colorado Avalanche to go out and get, because we talk so much. It's the normal 3C, like, oh, Blake Coleman, you've got Ryan O'Reilly, which is someone I've heard a lot of buzz around. But now Phillip Danault is starting to enter himself into these trade talks. And just who is Phillip Danault? Well, Danault is a 6'1", 200-pound, really apt defensive center. He also has some offense to his game as well, which was known pretty and widely regarded around the league up until really just this season, which is the reason why his trade value could be at the lowest it is, which is fortunate for a team trying to contend like the Colorado Avalanche, where, yes, of course, especially on a cup contending team like the LA Kings, you will not see them trade a third-line center when they fancy themselves as a cup-contending team. So, under normal circumstances, he wouldn't be a part of this list. But it's a pretty unique situation where he's actually asking for a trade. And there's rumors that it could be because of the new GM, and I'm not really sure what to make of that, but it could be a lucky bounce for the Colorado Avalanche, because if you look at his previous career here, he's been a fairly productive guy. He's got a couple 50-point seasons in his career. Actually, 3. He has several good 40-point seasons as well, except for this season where he only has 5 points in 30 games. So obviously not an ideal start, but when you're trying to buy a 3C and it comes at a low cost like this, yeah, there's no wonder why it might come at a low cost. But it could be something worthwhile that the Avalanche go out and get for a lower price than it usually would be if he was actually playing at his best. And you can also see his playoff performances have been fairly good. I mean, you can take a look at his numbers, and he's been, other than, of course, the Montreal season where in 22 games he only had 4 points. After that with the Kings, he's been one of their better playoff guys. I mean, he's had 5 points in a 6-game series. He had 8 points in the last series where the LA Kings played. So it is a guy that you are expecting to provide not just some defense, because that is something he's stellar at. He's great at faceoffs. He's great in his own end. He's kind of like a Jack Drury in that respect. But I almost see him as an advanced Jack Drury because the goal scoring is kind of a question right now. Obviously, he doesn't have a goal yet, which same with Jack Drury. Jack Drury is not the best goal scorer, but you can tell his puck distribution, his passing is overall so much better. And let's actually just kind of imagine what it would look like in a lineup like this and what bringing him to the Avalanche could even look like in the first place, because I'll show you that lineup again. If he slots into that third line center spot, then we're talking about possibly Ross Colton being the left wing and Gavin Brindley being the right wing. What could a possible trade piece look like? Well, as much as I like the guy and as obviously as good as production as he's been able to do for this team, you've also got to realize that Victor Olofsson is kind of an interesting case because, yes, he's scored 7 goals. He has, I think, 19 or 18 points at this moment in time. But the Kings also need someone that can just straight up score goals. So Victor Olofsson being utilized on that team, I think would be something they would definitely go for. And with a Victor Olofsson as well on this Avs team, you think of a third line that actually gets dirty in the corners. Like, Victor Olofsson isn't the best playmaker. I know he has like 11 assists or something like that, but he's not really known for his playmaking. He doesn't really drive play. He has points when you need it, but on a cup contending team, you would love to have the luxury of putting in a Victor Olofsson when you need him. But if you have the option of trading him for a third line center that will be a pivotal part of your lineup, I would rather go with the third line center. And it's no disrespect to Victor Olofsson, who I have liked in this season. But imagine like a Ross Colton, Phillip Danault, Gavin Brindley line. And oh boy, that is just music to my ears on a cup contending team. Behind this top 6 that's already been great, third line center is definitely the biggest hole, and it's why I have a draw to Phillip Danault, because not only is Phillip Danault obviously well known for his offense and defensive game, he's also a great locker room guy, is what I've heard, and that always goes around. Always a good locker room guy, but he is a leader. He is a guy that you want in a cup window, so it is something that I would be interested in. The biggest problem is his contract. He's making $5.5 million, so you probably have to trade a little extra for the LA Kings to get him to retain some of that salary. He is a free agent after this year, but yeah, you don't really want that to be a rental, but at the same time, if you win the cup, what are you going to have to sign him to? That's the biggest question mark with Phillip Danault, and the thing that gives me pause is, yes, the offense hasn't been as good this year. Will it come back? And, his contract isn't the best. A bit of a problem there. But talking about a guy like Ryan O'Reilly, because we're going to move into what you guys wanted to hear about. Ryan O'Reilly is someone I did a whole video on about a month ago, so go check that one out as well. I dive a lot more into Ryan O'Reilly. It's a very O'Reilly-centric video, but just to sum it up here, he is obviously a defensive monster. He's a face-off wizard. He not only has so much grit, and like imagining him with Ross Colton playing on the same line just sounds miserable for other teams, but he's also a born leader. He is absolutely fantastic in the locker room. There's a reason he was made the captain of the Blues. He's a good player in his own right, good two-way guy, but the problem is on the Avs, what does his pace look like? What is his skating? Because we've seen Casey Middlestat, we've seen Ryan Johansson come to the Avalanche and have trouble because they can't hang with how the Avalanche like to play their system. And Ryan O'Reilly would be a problem in that respect. The good news is O'Reilly is not being brought in as a second-line center like some people were saying before we got Brock Nelson. He would be the third-line center. So playing with Ross Colton, who isn't the best skater by himself. He's not slow, but he could definitely play the pace that Ryan O'Reilly would like to. And maybe Gavin Brindley driving most of the play. You could see how this line would seriously have a lot of punch heading into the playoffs as well. Ryan O'Reilly, obviously, there was some contention. The story is fun to bring him back home to Colorado. So O'Reilly is definitely up there, but the price to get him right now, apparently, according to Barry Trotz, is a first-round pick and an A-level prospect. Like, no way you pay that at all. Some other guys that I want to touch on that people love to talk about Nazem Kadri. Kadri also really fun to bring back to the team. It would be great to take him away from other rivals, like Minnesota Wild will definitely be trying to get another center here. There's been talks of Dallas being involved with Nazem Kadri, but while it's fun to get him, unless Calgary's just willing to trade him for a discount and Kadri really, really wants to go to Colorado, I don't really see that happening. John Tavares is another one I've heard of. That's not going to happen. The Leafs believe that they are a cup contending team, even though we all know they're not. They're going to hold on to John Tavares, who let's be honest, he's still the captain of that team. He's still the leadership core, and he is their second line center. So they're not going to trade John Tavares at all, especially on the contract he's on. And we kind of just get to the final, pie in the sky. I hope this guy comes to the Avalanche, and that's Sidney Crosby. Crosby, love the guy. I would love if he came to the Avalanche for a discount as well. If he was like, no, I want one last run at the cup. But that would just be an absolute dream. I'm not going to bet on it. I'm not even going to talk about what that could look like because I don't want to get my hopes up. But yeah, keep your fingers crossed. Do whatever black magic you can to make that happen, influence some decisions. I don't know, whatever we got to do, Avs Nation. But that is going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.